Now, after years of theorising, intellectual debate and controversies, it's time to act. And so with these 20 or so measures, we want to provide the tools for that.
Well, to discuss this, I'm very pleased to be joined now on the line by Marwan Sinaceur. He's a professor of social psychology, and he's also the author of Being French and Muslim, Living Islam and France. Thanks for joining us today on France 24.
Thank you for hosting.
First of all, can you explain to us what is the idea behind this committee that's being established today?
I think we have to understand the cultural differences between French culture and Anglo-Saxon countries. In France, the state has been fighting against religion historically, and has been promoting tolerance. We still remember about religious wars in the late Renaissance between Catholics and Protestants. And so against this background, the French state wants to make sure that it remains neutral with regard to religion. That is, that it doesn't take any hand in any religious debate.
But it is going to be controversial, isn't it, what this committee is doing, at least among the Muslim community? Why are these conversations around secularism so contested in France?
I think we have to make a distinction between two different things. One is the law, and French Muslims need to abide by the law, have to abide by the law, must abide by the law, as any other citizen. French Muslims are first and foremost citizens of France. Second, there is no reason targeting a specific religion or belief. No reason to target Islam or Judaism or Christianity or atheism or any kind of belief. And as long as the state doesn't target any religion in particular, French Muslims will live very happily in France.
So to be clear, you're actually personally not concerned about this committee that's being set up to strengthen secularism in France. You think it won't be a problem for the Muslim community here?
Well, I don't see any. That's an excellent question. Of course, it's a complex question, but to answer it simply and fast, I don't see any contradiction between secularism and religion. Secularism, the way the French promote it, is tolerating different religions, different beliefs, because people may be religious, they may not be religious. And as long as representatives of the state hold to that neutrality with regard to religion, I don't see any issue, any particular issue there.
Well, one of the main issues that's being discussed is around education. There's been some concern in government circles that children mustn't be taught anything that might radicalise them, whether that's at home or at school. And this obviously follows the murder of the teacher Samuel Paty last year. Do you think there's a reason to be concerned that children, Muslim children in France, could become radicalised through the way that they're taught?
I think what you just summarized as being, the principle of action for the French state is exactly right. We need obviously to fight radicalization. I don't think that, I think we need to make a big distinction here between Islam, which is a religion, which is a faith, Islamism, which is a political belief, extremism, and then terrorism. And those four things are not the same. The vast majority of Muslims are not terrorists. And I think it's quite obvious. But it's good to remind us of this truth. And in fact, the vast majority of victims of terrorism in the world are Muslim. Something like 92% of victims of terrorism of Islamist terrorism are Muslims. So going back to your question, what does this mean? of course, it is absolutely critical to make sure that every French child goes to school and is taught principles about secularism. But I think it's also quite important to study religion as an object of study. We should be able to speak about the history of religion at schools, for example.
Absolutely. Mr. Sinaceur, I'm sorry, we are going to have to leave it there. We're out of time. But thanks very much indeed for coming on France 24 today to talk to us.